Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you can hear my voice, yes, it is a little bit less than usual, but it is indeed a good morning. You are live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everybody can be a star. My name is Clinton Paris, and I have the pleasure of being one of the co-hosts of Straight Up the Middle. And notwithstanding the testy emails I receive about being too far left, trust me, I am straight up the middle. And if you're not with me, that means you're off in the ditch somewhere. Because I am down the middle as balanced as can be. And I'm happy today because I have none other than my other co-host in studio, Professor Tony Seabrook. Good morning, Professor. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm good. I'm feeling well today.
Well, good. I'm glad you are. I'm glad to have you here. And I know that you were kind of standing back and watching last week with all the festivities related to Kappa Conclave 2023.
Yeah.
You know, I was really excited for the conclave to come, and I was even more excited for the conclave to go.
I didn't know how many days it was. I just
it felt like it was like too many days. The first actual activity for the brothers started Friday the previous week with welcoming the Grand Chapter in. That was the first activity.
Okay.
And then on Saturday we did some community service, went out and made some donations in the community and recognized some significant people. And that was a full day on Saturday. Sunday did church service, took our youth out to USF and had an activity out at USF's campus on Sunday. Monday, the Grand Pole Mark, in a proud moment of black solidarity, moved his golf tournament from Tampa Palms to Rogers Park. We went out there and tore up the place, had a great time, and met with some of the older golfers who've been there for years. And then on Tuesday, we had our open meeting. That's where the public got to come out and got an official welcome from the mayor and the elected officials and all that good stuff. And then on Wednesday, we had an award ceremony. Recognized some really important people. Belinthia Berry got an award. Lo Berry, she received an award. Some other folks. Really nice event followed by a reception over at, I think the reception was at Amalie Arena. One was at JW Marriott. And then on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Professor, it's when the social delegates begin to arrive. They've let us get the preliminaries out the way, and they come in town ready to turn it up a notch. So on Thursday afternoon.
Would this be the younger group, though?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They're called, their official group, and they're called the social delegates.
Oh, okay.
And they come in town to carry the social water for the brothers doing the business. Okay. We've been doing the business, and now they come in and pick up the pace a little bit. And we kicked that off with a day party at Riverfront Center on Thursday afternoon. And then
all white parties?
Nope, not yet. So you get ahead of yourselves. And then we rolled into the Crimson takeover at Armature Works.
Saw that one.
It was a powerful event. Seeing that the magnitude of black folks rolling in there. Went in there, had a live band, Butler Pastor Derves, really, really good DJ, just nice set. It was just really a nice look for Tampa. I want to say they thought about 1,500 to 2,000 people were in that crowd. And my understanding is the mayor of Atlanta was snuck in there on the low key, but I snooped him out because I had to accost his security. And that's Thursday. You know, Friday, another day party out on Bayshore, followed by the all-white party at the aquarium. And, you know, some people thought this DJ CEO, Tampa couldn't carry that size of an event at that price point. There were some concerns that Tampa, the people in Tampa, they just won't spend that kind of money. Let me say this. VIP completely sold out over there. Completely sold out. You know, that was the first thing. And it wasn't easy. I mean, people like they'll go to D.C. and they think nothing of dropping a $125 or $150 on a night out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think nothing of that. Go to San Francisco, $200 night. And then they just thought Tampa wasn't, you know, they might not, you know, they thought we were Jacksonville. So I don't know. So anyway, so that's where so they showed up,
Move on.
packed the place out, And then on Saturday, we had our family outing at Riverfront, Julian B. Lane Riverfront Park. Incredible event at Julian B. Lane. Oh, that may be the Jacksonville calling already.
Exactly.
You want to try them out? I'm still put them on hold for a minute, just here. I'm almost there, Professor. And then Saturday, we had the black and white ball, had a family outing and partying to the night. And man, I just crashed. On Sunday, I thought I could crash. Paul Mark calls me and says, get back down there and clean that convention center up. So we're running around cleaning it up and dropping people at the airport like with shuttle service. But it was a good time, man. So
254 pictures later is what I saw. It's like, man, that is way too much.
Hey, it was, man. I tell you, man, I have been down, exhausted. Voice won't hold up, and I'm glad you're here. Maybe I'll let you say something. So anyway, DJ, you want to take that call and see what's going on? Let's do that. Caller, you're on Intouch News Radio, reality radio, where everybody could be a star. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Brother Prince, Vice Paul Mark Tampa Alumni Chapter, Brother Daryl X. Johnson.
Good morning. Good morning, Brother X. Johnson. I see your voice is dragging as well.
Yeah, it's been a long week of recovery, but I can say that the feedback that we received from brothers across the country and some of their silhouettes and some folks who just visited it's been phenomenal. The buzz is still going a week later.
Yes.
The show that the city of Tampa, that the Tampa alumni, Kappa Alpha Psi brothers and others in the community put together. And the thing that engaged me the most, I was sitting down at the white party where a brother was a 56-year member of Kappa Alpha Psi. And that man said to me, he said, I have been to a lot of conclaves.
Yes.
He said, this has to be probably the best one that I've attended just because of all the things that were covered, how the city just embraced the brothers and the folks visiting, and just all the nonstop activity and the options that they had. And, people they visit Florida, but they don't visit Tampa, so I kept
Correct.
I'm coming back to Tampa.
Yes.
I'm coming back to Tampa. So it was a great week. Shout out to our leadership, Paul Mark, College Diary III, Brother Dave Christensen, Brother Fred Robinson.
Yes.
And all those committees that worked hard, brothers who worked on security. And like Klein, we were doing 12, 14-hour days.
If you're lucky, you got in at 14. Let me ask you about this, though. What can you say, though, about the vision that Henry Bell put out there for some of those venues and some of the stuff that could be done when we were first? What can you say something about that?
Yeah, so we've been in these meetings I had with Henry Bell for 3 years, and just his vision, and just telling brothers, look, just ride with me. Henry Bell, native of Tampa, he wanted to make sure that when these brothers of the fraternity and visitors came, that they remembered Tampa as one of the best. And just his vision of the Armature Works Party, the culmination, which was around 2,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that place was rocking all night.
Yeah.
And you had people walking by like, what's going on in there? We want to take a peek.
Yeah.
And then Thursday night, Friday night's white party on the three stories was just on a different thing with the comedian and DJ. So we shout out to him because he had a vision. They let him run with that. He a native Tampa guy, and he really wanted to show up to show out, and he did. And the word that I have been hearing on Friday and Saturday and this week is that culmination party was one of the best parties of my life.
Look, man, look. I am a dedicated social delegate extraordinaire, and I was working this one, but I could see. And let me just say, see, Professor, here's what you don't know about the campus. We have something special.
Is that right?
Let me tell you what it is.
Tell him.
Educated, successful, driven, intelligent, a collection of them, and we chase each other around the track, driving each other faster and fast, and you put us all together. For example, check this out, Brother Johnson. This is what I heard that Brother Bell did. He strategically recruited volunteers from various strong chapters around the country to increase the draw from those chapters. So we had somebody from Howard, somebody from FAMU, from all these chapters to increase the connectivity. That's very insightful. I would have never thought that. You know, and I would, you know, just, and then the personal investment. Most people don't know. He has been driving social engagement for about 2 years now, spending his own money. Spending his own money to get brothers to come out, connecting people, gathering information, under incredible scrutiny, I must say, and particularly from me at sometimes. But he did it. So that brother's name didn't show up on a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna throw this out. There's another Johnson involved. DJ CEO, he was heavily involved with putting together that party over at the aquarium. Got his wife involved, and he did a great job too, man. And I know he had guests in town, DJ CEO, but his commitment to the fraternity. So across the board, man, I think the brothers and the city performed well. It's been a while since the city of Tampa had the opportunity to put itself out to host a major black event with this level of social engagement. You know, like for example, when you have the Heritage Festival, you don't have all the restaurants in Ybor City booked out for black people hosting events. You don't have the Tampa Club booked out because black folks are hosting events. You don't have multiple gigantic yachts cruising up the canal to pick up people to take them out because some brother done brought his yacht down and they're going out for a day party. You don't have brothers reserving and renting taxis on the water to shuttle people up and down the river who've never been on the Hillsborough River and don't realize how connected it is to downtown. So those are some of the things I thought really stepped out, man. And of course, you know, as a vice poll, Mark, you should take a bow as well, man. Congratulations to you for your hard work as well.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone in the city of Tampa, obviously all the brothers here in Tampa and across the country. It was truly like you said, Brother Ferris, brothers came together from all across the country to help make sure that this was successful. And the best thing from the culmination party is when we had all those different sections of brothers shouting out from Nashville to New York, you know, Alabama. Everyone shouted out all their love and unity. And just to see brothers get together and see just people just having a good time, being respectful for one another. I remember I bumped into a guy. I said, "Oh, excuse me." He said, "Man, you don't have to excuse yourself. We all one up in here, baby."
Oh yeah. I told my sister. I said, "Look, get your single girlfriends together because a bunch of single men in town with a pocket full of money, and they intend on spending it. So get somewhere." Well, thank you, Brother Johnson. Appreciate you listening in, my brother. You take care. You know, while we were celebrating, Professor, the world was still moving on. We thought it stopped. I thought it stopped, but clearly some other stuff's been going on, man.
But before you move away from that, what was the goal? To raise money? To just
so let me tell you what it is. It's interesting. It is actually the grand chapter meeting for the fraternity. There's business that the fraternity is having. If you think about it, we have brothers and members all over the country.
Right.
So to have a meeting, they've got to come together somewhere to take care of the business of the organization. Okay. And so that everybody's not always just hanging out in Philadelphia, the meeting moves around.
Right.
Well, this is our actual grand chapter meeting. So all the officers come in and their elections and all that stuff from all the chapters and provinces. And that's why you have a draw of so many people coming to be a part of that. And it's grown beyond that to be a celebration in whatever city the event is held in.
Is that the same or equal to what the like my wife and her convention?
Very similar. It's very similar. Now, the only thing I would say is this, and I mention this repeatedly, it is the commitment and dedication and contribution of our social delegates. Most organizations don't have that piece of the pie. That's what turns the heat up.
Okay.
We just came down here, voted, and went back to the airport. That's no big deal.
Right.
But the social delegates come in to turn up the heat. They're the ones that make it such a party. They don't just come for the votes. Matter of fact, they don't attend the votes. They're usually sleeping when the votes are going on. Their job is to come into town, spend some money, and turn it up and have a good time and make everybody. And that's really, I think, that it's one of the things that I think sets the conclave apart. And ours went above and beyond, way above and beyond. But like I said, the world was still spinning while we were partying. So we got to talk about a little bit of that stuff. I'm going to let you gloat about Hunter Biden and some other stuff. You can explain.
The prodigal son. Okay.
Yeah. So It Takes News Radio. Reality radio, everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break. By 2 o'clock, I'll have a word.
Glad there was no twerking, the staging, fall down, people working.
It was a lot of pleasure going on. A lot of professionalism.
Rocking your radio on the sounds.
I can imagine. Hey, man, let my hair down. Come on. Listen, and you see, you got brothers got some real money.
Real money.
Not put it like this. The Alaska alumni flew in their own seafood from Alaska. They don't want to touch this. They're like, we don't want to touch this stuff out our water seafood. We ain't gonna take it. We gonna bring our own seafood in. Other brothers brought in their yacht. Somebody's yacht got stuck in the channel out there. They had to tow it back out of there. I think they said they told him he couldn't turn it around. He tried to turn it around anyway, and he got it stuck. The ladies got to go on the cruise. Just across the board, man. Good time. But the party scene was a community feel. So you feel like we were working down the night. We were down at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning doing official business and then trying to run these social events in the evening. And they turned out a lot. They turned out that JW.
Man, let me tell you something. We were so well organized.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here for you.
Dash marketing.
Talk to that song. Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah. All right, we're back live. Get Touch News Radio. Reality radio, back to be a star. I've been trying to make it through a day without my voice completely collapsing. So I'm gonna let the professor actually do some talking. I want to encourage you all, though. Don't let him get away with no foolishness. You need to call and make sure keep him on task. The call-in number is 813-444-9588. 813-444-9588. Professor,
yeah,
what you think, man? Great economic numbers came out. The economy growing about 2.4%. Another quarter of growth. Jobs still holding strong. I mean,
well, let me rain on that. First of all, I'm not going to do what you guys did to Trump when the numbers came out and they were good, because there is a comparison up there, and other than the year of the pandemic, Trump hadn't had anything over 4.8. So I mean, he still had a better economy on record. So we can look at those numbers if you want, but
I'm just speaking about the numbers in front of us right now. And
so those numbers in front of us now, they look good. What is it, 3.6? So it didn't change much from last month.
Right.
But I always tell you, look into the details. So out of the major working group, whites, low 3.1%.
Right.
Guess what we are? The only group that outdoes us are teens. We are 6.1%.
But that's consistent. That's not new.
Well, it's consistent as far as we are consistently the higher group with unemployment.
Got it. Right. I would
especially for this president that does everything, going to pay your loan off.
Yeah. But that's not that great necessarily itself create jobs. I really don't think the president really affects the economy as much as people think. But be that as it may, we've been predicting on the Biden this gloom and doom and a recession and collapse. Did not happen. And unfortunately, we're left to kind of, but
there's some credence there, though. I mean, because although the numbers are good, now I would admit the one thing that gets me and it gets everyone, this is what's showing up are the prices in the store.
But inflation's ticking down.
Well, it's ticking down, but who's really feeling that? Because here's kind of a funny thing, kind of a backstory. In my plight to finish. And I meet with my committee, my chair again this week. I go through these periods where I just get a lot of sweets, so I go and I get Tootsie Rolls and Snickers because I know it's going to be a late night.
Yeah.
And at the Shell station, I go there and I realize that the King pack of what is it?
Not Reese's
Snickers.
Pieces. With the 4 pieces in
Yeah,
there?
yeah. It's actually $4.29.
Whoa.
The King Pack.
Yikes.
So I'm looking for candy. Like I'm a bum. I'm looking for candy under $2. So I get a chocolate payday. I was like, they still sell. No, I had some rum candy. So like they still sell those. Where it's the only thing under $2. You know. So who's feeling this? And it's going to be the middle class.
But that's always the case with the economy. The bottom of the economic social stratus always bears the brunt of, and they get the benefits at last, and they feel the brunt. But the issue is it's moving in a positive direction, and the fundamentals don't indicate that will change.
Well, that's what you say, but I guess if we're talking election year and if we're talking the economy in which African Americans are in, because I know we're going to talk about what's going on in Florida with the new curriculum. So if we keep all those together, and then we're going to have a conversation about what Florida may or may not be doing that's a disservice to black people, then we have to have the same energy when you look at these employment numbers. If the economy is getting better, why is it consistently? There's no other group that outperforms us when it comes to unemployment. We're consistent.
Yeah, but I mean that's America. That is the strategy.
We had lower numbers under President Trump.
Not lower than white numbers, though. We had lower black numbers, but they were never lower than the white numbers. You got to remember what I'm saying, though.
Okay.
They were never. There's a skit by Richard Pryor from the '70s, and they ask him about unemployment, and he says, white unemployment is about 5%, but in the black community is about 45%, give or take a percentage. But so that piece, I think, is and then you want to. I mean, if you want to, we can talk about the social attacks by DeSantis if you'd like to. As a backdrop, because I just was it was just quite interesting. There seems to be an effort by DeSantis, the best way I can say it, and not the kids but the adults, to make parents and adults feel better about what their kids are being taught at school about America's history. And I wonder about why that is. Like, for example, you ever heard the story about George Washington chopping down a cherry tree?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ever heard about George Washington falsely attacking a French outpost and being captured? Mm-hmm. See, one is real and one never happened. What never happened was a cherry tree.
Right.
But what really happened is he wanted to make a name for himself. He stumbled on a French outpost. He attacked it, killed some people. Ultimately, the French responded and captured him, and they had to negotiate to get him out. This is when he was a young officer. But I don't know why they don't tell that story. And America wants to tell stories in our history books that have no relevance or connectivity to reality. And that seems to be what this is all about, really, is they don't want people. And already, the story being told in the history books is kind of light. You really dug into the slave trade and Foundation of America. It's an ugly story. It's okay though. It is. It's like when your kids grow up and start telling you about some of the stuff you did to them when they were little. Remember that time you blamed me for what my brother did, and and I got on punishment. He was wrong, and you wouldn't let up. But what is your take on this from the Republican side as to kind of what the overall theme of this is about? Because I don't know that teaching Black history. Let me say it this way. I just don't expect the school system to be able to do a good job at it anyway. So why would that be a focus?
Well, and we're talking about the curriculum.
Yes.
DeSantis has done a good job, because I don't know why I depend on him, but he's the governor of the states, and I'm not sure why the revisions were made, but I do know as an instructor, as a professor, that there are revisions to the curriculum.
And this is middle school.
Well, now this is middle school. Okay.
Yes.
But still, the revision is still there. I mean, no one's going to create a course in a vacuum. So anytime you create a course, you have to have learning objectives, and they have to be signed off.
Got it.
No matter what level. Now, and I looked at these. I don't know if it's 190, but it's like 200 pages.
Okay.
And I have them here. So when I just did a Control F and this look for slaves. Right.
Right.
I don't know when these edits were made, but I can see there were some updates to this new, and this is already a new curriculum, so it probably came after all the backlash. The only thing I saw there was just a wording of slavery was a benefit, but I'm not sure it was...
that part, right?
Well, I'm not sure it was even worded like that, but my point is, and to your point, yeah, DeSantis is positioning himself as the one that's going to be the leader of the family. So he wants that nuclear family. He wants everyone to feel good about raising their kids. We don't want this woke agenda.
Whoa. You got to give me some supporting, legislation about the nuclear family. Is it making it more convenient for families to marry? Is he helping families buy houses? What is he doing that would make it a nuclear family? And I don't see how that standard has anything to do with that.
Let me take the nuclear part out because I don't have any stats on that other than he is consistently going against this woke ideology about what can be taught to kids.
Boom, that door just shut behind you. I didn't even have to. I was thought
because we're going there because
I'm trying to get. So what is the woke ideology that this addresses? You think?
This does not, but it's consistent what he does with curriculum that's in front of our children. So with the woke ideology is about trans kids and it's about having sex at some young age.
Right.
It's the same thing. So if you're concerned about curriculum, you should have been concerned about that as well, not just the wording of this that hadn't happened yet. Because what this does not address is what happened since, 2010, K through 12 in the state of Florida have been pretty much behind in reading, math, all those critical places.
Right.
Has nothing to do with this. Has nothing to do with this wording of whether it's a benefit or not 10 years ago. So it doesn't move the needle. So it's a false narrative to me to even argue about it. Now, in the same vein, DeSantis has distanced himself from it. Like, I'm not a part of that. They did it.
But he tries to explain it.
Well, he has to because he's the governor. And he's running for president.
But no need to say this. You need to own like the Disney fiasco. He tries to own that. He doesn't say it's somebody else. That's him.
Well, yeah, he took that on.
Yeah, but this, he doesn't pretend like he took this. Because I don't doubt that.
Because I don't think he did spearhead this. I mean, it falls under.
Oh no, I disagree. He has set the tone and tenor for how all of the administrative agencies in the state of Florida look at what they're doing. He's the one that allowed this free-for-all with insurance. Just insurance companies do whatever you want to do, and if you leave, you leave, no penalty, no nothing. Pretend like it's not even happening and people don't have insurance. What he said, we will cross your fingers and hope don't have a hurricane. If you don't have insurance, just hope for the best. But this thing with benefit, but where he got in trouble is trying to explain the benefit part. And once he opened the door to do that, he kind of gave you his impression that he believes there's some benefits that people got, which seems asinine. I was very happy to see your boy Donald come out and say, "Nah,
only on that."
You crossed you went over my limit.
Right.
I want to be able to go to family reunion and be invited to Thanksgiving dinner. You can't talk about benefits of slavery. You can't do that to us. So, anyway, so what do you think that where that ends up, and does it have an effect on him politically?
I don't think it has an effect on him politically because obviously they were looking for anything that he's going to adjust in the curriculum. I mean, they have watchdogs out for that. So this is one of those things, and Donald had to do it. Yeah. Tim Scott also took his shot at it as well. Because the African Americans that run it, and if they
could have been like the two people on the actual
on the committee
who said, yeah, there were benefits of slavery. You learn how to take a beating. I mean, you increase your pain tolerance.
Well, again, from the start, I just felt the wording was okay. You guys could have wrote this different. Send it to my chair. She really rewrote it.
Look at you. Wait. Oh, you got your meeting again. Thursday. Yeah, so I just think that this has put his campaign in terrible position.
Well, he's already sucking there anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had to lay off some people. His from my understanding, they have to reorg or reset.
Yeah.
It's because Trump's out there. Trump's the man. He's still the man. He's the man to beat.
Well, I mean that's what the Republicans, have hitched their wagon to. So I guess that'll be the case. It's not, now, what about this other thing? And I know we're running up almost to the time before I take a quick break. Is Mitch McConnell's health issues helping the argument for Republicans about Joe Biden's health issues and age?
I don't know if it's helping because it's already been a discussion, it seems like every election cycle as of recent, about term limits. And this is pretty much what they're talking about.
Congress. But does it make it easier now for Republicans to say, you know, because of what's going on with Mitch McConnell, you're too old, you need to go. And by the way, this is why Joe Biden is too old too.
No, Joe Biden is definitely, I mean, he's fallen down in front of the camera. That's one thing.
He tripped. Falling down is different.
He fell off the bike. He didn't trip off the bike.
But he tripped over the bag. Somebody threw a bag in front of him and he tripped over the bag.
And he tripped going up the stairs twice. I mean, this guy falls down all the time. Mitch McConnell is freezing up at the mic. Dianne Feinstein looks like she's on life support.
Just say, hey, listen. Listen, we're trying to recover here as well. Listen, we're going to take another break. Come back on the other side and dig into a little bit where the campaign stands.
Yeah.
Handicap 2024. This is In Touch News Radio, reality radio where everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Man, you got to go to sleep, boy. You tired, right?
Dude, I'm all right, man. Hey, everybody I talk to, boy, and I've been going to work.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts. It feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
All right, we're back. Professor, bring us back in.
All right, we're back. Let me give you the number to call in case anyone wants to jump in on this Trump's the man comment. 813-444-9588.
Big event out of Iowa. Big event in Iowa this week. What was that event they had yesterday where everybody spoke for 10 minutes? But everybody got to get on stage yesterday and speak. Christie wasn't there. He was in New Hampshire. I tuned in. Donald Trump talked about his indictment. Everybody else talked about the border and crime and things of that nature. But I don't think much has changed on the Republican side since Donald Trump got in the race.
Exactly.
You know, now Mitt Romney came out and said, well, he thinks some of these... Mitt Romney, real Republican.
Mitch.
Yeah, is it Mitch Romney? Mitt Romney?
No, we call him a Mitch.
Yeah. Anyway, Mitt Romney, real Republican. He suggested that some of these people need to get out the race because a majority of Republicans want somebody else. That Donald Trump does not have a majority. What do you think?
I think he doesn't like Trump.
Right.
He wants that to change because I thought DeSantis would be polling better than what he is. And I just think it's the obvious. He doesn't have a whole lot of charisma. And not that Trump has a whole lot. He's not that charismatic to me. But, I mean, he has more presence. And I think, I don't know what really is holding up DeSantis. But the others, I would agree, get out the race. Like, what are you doing?
Well, Tim Scott seems to be ticking up, though. He seems to be picking, half percentage, 2-point percentage.
Tim Scott hadn't bust double digits. The only one that bust double digits besides DeSantis was Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever his name is. Yeah.
And that name's too difficult to say.
Ramaswamy, whatever it is. But still, he's the only one that at least hit 10, but now he's under double digits.
But Scott's the only one that's consistently moved forward. He's ticking.
It doesn't matter. He's not double digits. I don't care.
We get there, though. But I'm just saying, not right now. When you think about it, Biden was way behind in Iowa. He was way behind. So yeah. The race is not over. People start to drop and fall off.
Yeah, but I don't see anyone
You don't think eventually these charges against Trump start to?
You guys are trying. I give you a guy A for effort, and I told my wife I was going to say it again. What have I consistently said every time I come on the show? You guys have been doing it since the Russia. We got them now, man. We got them now. The other shoe about to drop. How many shoes this guy wears? I mean, I don't know how many shoes need to drop before you guys realize every indictment he goes up in the poll.
But I think that's a strategy.
A strategy of who?
We want him to win the nomination.
You're trying to make that to make some sense.
We're trying to get Democrats to switch party to Republican to actually vote for Donald Trump in the primary because we want him in the general.
And so in the meantime, when Joe is surely and obviously declining in front of the camera, falling asleep in meetings in other countries, you think putting Donald Trump against this guy who's clearly declined. I mean, he's diminished. I don't even know what you guys are thinking about unless you're trying to substitute him for the governor of California. I'm not sure.
It's one thing to have intelligence and then, lose a little bit. It's another thing when you're just an idiot and you just stay an idiot. So the reality of it is we don't have to worry about him because Donald Trump has always been an idiot. I mean, he's been an idiot. And he's not changing.
I'm not going to argue certain points. I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he
I don't know what he's talking about.
But here's the thing. His performance was good. The economy, bar the COVID incident, was good. So that's why his poll record, his poll numbers are high.
His poll record numbers are high. With this
because he delivered. He delivered on everything. Whether you thought it was nonsense or not, he delivered on everything he said he was going to do. And you guys kept trying to impeach him, kept trying to do this, and then COVID came in. You didn't care about COVID. COVID took over, ran the economy in the ground, and then everything else happened.
All right, he said, I don't want to do this checklist of what I say I'll do at home. He said Mexico paid for the wall. Biden got the $1.5 billion.
Biden got the $1.5 billion.
Yeah, for Mexico.
So is he building the wall?
He's building security resources along the border.
But that's why we have more. Is that why we have more immigration under Biden?
Actually, with the new app that's been installed, there's a horde of.
There's an app now.
Yeah.
You see what we're talking about? We're talking about apps, and he's going.
Man, you gotta get with it. Gotta get with it, man.
Stop it. Which is why Trump numbers are still high. Everyone knows Biden
Republicans.
What?
And with nowhere else, and I think it's.
As a matter of fact, did we look at the rest? The numbers for Biden. Biden has a disapproval rating of 53%.
That means 47% approval.
It's still the lowest. Trump was higher than him at this point.
Right.
So, and he's polling low, and he's cognitively diminished. I mean, I know you're trying to put a positive spin on this. Are you saying
that Donald Trump had an approval rating that ever hit 50%? I thought his number stayed in the 30s, 37, 38, 39, 33.
We can look at the rest.
He was down there somewhere with Congress. But be that as it may, I just don't know if that's a good place. We've beaten Donald Trump, so we know we can beat Donald Trump. Donald Trump to us is kind of like the Buffalo Bills, under Jim Kelly. They're going to be there, but yeah.
But that's only if the Republicans can't pull this off with the hearings next week that has to do with Hunter Biden. Let me say this though,
but I don't know how many people, most people, if you were to say Hunter Biden got a bunch of millions of dollars for his family,
17 to 30,
for foreign influence, most Americans would say, and what's your point? See, they're trying to prove something, I think, that doesn't matter.
They're trying to prove that Joe was a part of that.
But it doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter?
It's America. We're a capitalist country.
Why did it matter with the phone call to Ukraine?
That's different.
That's now a part of that. That's the backdrop of this story.
I'm going to tell you, why? That wasn't about money.
What about, okay.
Do you follow me?
I do not follow you. That's just semantics.
America,
that's semantics, and that's what the Democrats want people to think.
See, that was about trustworthiness and other issues. It's not about nepotism. Everybody in Washington is using name and influence to.
Well, all we need to do is prove that Joe was in the room.
And then what? Let's prove he's in the room.
then it's fraud, right? Because then he lies.
What's the fraud?
He had no deal. Is that the money?
Look,
wait a minute. In his name on some of these documents that James Comer came up with, these 20 shell companies?
Let me say this, and Republicans don't get this. It's kind of like Republicans didn't get that. I mean, Democrats didn't understand that Republicans didn't care whether or not Donald Trump was faithful, had sex with a porn star, or committed sexual assault. We didn't understand that Republicans didn't care about that. So we were trying to prove that he was this horrible person, did these evil things. Not thinking we didn't even care. And I think Republicans are missing the boat. They're going after Joe Biden about something that voters don't care about. Who cares about that? Are Republicans. You already got their votes.
So, well, you're just switching seats. When you started with the Russia collusion thing, that was because Hillary thought that Donald Trump did her in and the Russians did him a favor. No one cared about that but you guys. And you guys lied about that. Adam Schiff, who was censured for lying about that, you guys lied and lied. That fell apart. Then you went with the Mueller report.
I agree. The convoluted.
No, that was the lie. That was the lie from the beginning.
But the
you guys only
convoluted, right. And Donald Trump wasn't smart enough to pull that off. What you're telling me is you got a mentally diminished octogenarian and ex-crackhead that put together something so savvy that all of the...
No, they're not putting together. Democrats and the mainstream media are shielding them. They don't want people to know. That's why they're not running it like they ran the tickers at the bottom of the screen. Anything that Trump did from 2016 to 2020
here's where I'm thinking,
at the bottom of CNN.
But when you get to the end and Republicans, Jim Jordan comes out and says, I'm happy to announce we found it. Hunter Biden got millions of dollars that somehow were of benefit to Joe Biden, and we knew this all along. And when you finish all that, you know what the Democrats are going to say? So what?
But see, I don't think that's what they're trying to prove.
What they're trying to prove
is they said that I think in 2017, Joe Biden's tax record said that he brought in $10 million. Okay. In 2020, it was down to $600,000.
Okay.
But in 2017, he and Hunter Biden had the same income. I don't know if it's virtually, but those shell accounts said the same thing for both of them.
Okay.
What business did Joe Biden have? He's been a senator for 50 years.
We don't care.
You guys don't care.
Right.
We didn't care about the stuff you guys do,
and that was a mistake that we made. See, you're making the same mistake we made.
And we don't care because we're going to run this old guy in the ground.
Instead of passing meaningful legislation, addressing the issues of America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Republicans are wasting their time. And so when we get on the campaign trail, to Democrats and independents, we're going to talk about the things that we passed, the agenda, like the infrastructure bill. That now Republicans want to come out and wave their hand and celebrate the new stuff that's being done in their districts. I don't know how to get away with that. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. And you're going to if you go out and say, we proved Joe Biden was a liar, we don't care.
No, we're not trying to prove he's a liar. We're trying to prove he got money. That means he frauded.
No,
and we're going to look at these charges, right? Trump on the other side of the break.
Listen. I don't know if we got enough time in the show, but the charges. Let's talk about that real quick. We'll put it a break. So, what's the new charge? What is obstruction? What is it?
Well, the first charge was conspiracy to commit offense or defraud the United States.
Okay.
The second charge is deprivation of rights under the color of law, and you need to explain that one to me. And then the third was tampering with witness.
Oh, those are easy ones. Those are going to be easy ones for them to prove, because we got the recording of him telling one of the it was a text message. The boss wants the server deleted.
Well, that's no different than. The big man's in the room. We have those texts.
Yeah, but he was on they subpoenaed those records. Let's take
I don't get that. But okay, we'll come back after the break with that. I don't get that one at all.
Yeah. See, he got the subpoena.
Tell a friend to listen in. It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
Hi, I'm Angela Birdsong, and during the week, they call me the Medicare lady.
Right.
I help people successfully transition onto Medicare, sometimes Medicaid. I also help people with life
So
insurance,
we're talking about
long-term care insurance, and annuities. Please do not try to navigate Medicare without me. It's complicated. 813-476-4837.
Right? What the surveillance camera. Donald Trump then tells a low-level employee, go delete the service. Because you know, you see on the video that David Morris King, he had moved boxes out. He told his lawyer, these are all the boxes. Well, before the thing got there, Donald Trump had boxes removed.
In this house.
Okay, right, exactly. And then his lawyer certified, these are all the boxes. That's the problem. That's how we got
so we have a Hillary Clinton thing all over again.
The lawyer now gives up all their records to DOJ because the lawyer was giving bad information.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think Donald Trump is guilty?
I think Donald Trump is guilty of some things, but no more than any other U.S.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices run.
You take back what you said about Bill Barr.
Oh man, okay. In touch in these rooms. I'm sorry, I'm new here, right? All right, call in number again, 813-444-9588. So I'm trying to understand these three charges, and I did look them up, and I tried to get some examples, but they don't seem to be much. And I think it's the reason why they have these extra charges is because Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's business partner, is going to testify this week, so they know that documents case is weak, so we need to get some more charges on Trump to get this thing going, to distract the media, basically. So anyway, the three charges, I listed them out. Conspiracy to commit offense, and this is what I thought about when I saw this one. Isn't this the same one that they were saying Rick Scott did when he was running for governor the first time? He had that.
Yeah.
And
he played out. He worked out a deal. I think it was Medicaid or Medicare or something like that.
So it's when you build something, you overbill.
It's when you conspiracy is, well, first it involves another person, and you're planning to do something that is illegal. You don't actually have to actually do it, but you plan to do something. That's the first thing. So it's kind of like a charge that goes along with another charge. And if we have a conspiracy to rob a bank, we do that first. Then we rob the bank. So you have a bank robbery.
But does it have to necessarily be nefarious? Can it just be I didn't know?
No. It has to be it has to be nefarious. And
my intentions have to be nefarious.
Correct. And so once he's under investigation, they're now saying, look, and that's when he started putting together this plan to kind of work its way around what the law required him to do, which all he had to do is give up the documents. Like everybody, like Pence did, say, come get them. Or like Biden, come get the documents. That's all he had to say.
But so, Biden had documents, and I don't think...
Come get the documents.
But he shouldn't have had them, right?
Yeah, just come.
He was vice president.
Yeah, because nobody gets, because they're presuming it could happen, right?
Who are presuming it could happen?
The Records, Presidential Records Act.
Could end up at the VPs.
You could end up with records you shouldn't have. Just give them back when we ask. And as Donald Trump said, and they have to ask real nice.
Exactly.
So they did.
It's my house.
They did.
I moved the records if I want to move.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, you're going to be moving records in the big house in a minute. The Hunter Biden's plea deal collapsed the other day. Right. Collapsed. Your take on that?
I didn't understand it. And I didn't watch it, but from my understanding, there was a lot of hoopla going on, and then they said, well, no, there are no more charges pending, and then the Republicans go, oh, yeah.
No Republican said that. The prosecutor said that. There were Republicans in the room. Republicans didn't know anything about this.
Wait a minute, about what?
Here we go. So we get to the hearing, and the judge sees the plea deal, right? And so smart judges make the actual person acknowledge what's in the agreement. Not the lawyers don't get away with it. And as the judge starts to inquire about Hunter Biden, about what you understand this to be, the prosecutor spoke up and said, no. It doesn't include everything. There's some other stuff going on. To which then Hunter Biden team said, whoa, wait a minute. We weren't aware of that.
The Republicans prosecutor, our lawyer.
You don't have a lawyer there. The Department of Justice has a lawyer there. Stop politicizing DOJ.
What are you talking about?
Because it's going to be a Democrat.
Okay.
Because they're going to come back with he's a Republican prosecutor, but they're going to come back with the deal because nobody wants this to go to court. This is not the kind of thing you want in court. Right. So basically what came out was what was in the agreement wasn't what the parties understood the agreement to be. Because Hunter Biden is under investigation for being an unregistered lobbyist or something along those lines. They're investigating him to try to figure out
foreign agent or whatever.
Basically working for a foreign government without registering, that you're doing this.
Being a crackhead with a gun.
Yeah. So we go right. So,
but that's one of the charges, though, right?
Being a crackhead with a gun.
Being an addict with
lying.
a gun.
No, it's not. No one saw
that wasn't one of the charges.
It's falsifying an application to buy a firearm.
So he never had a gun?
He had a gun, all right. He got one, but he checked with asked about his drug use. He checked no.
Okay.
He checked no.
So you would imagine anyone that's caught on screen snorting powdered weight, hunters all over the internet, that's pretty much crackhead, right?
No, he's a
cokehead.
He's a crack. No. He was going on crack.
Okay.
And he was a crackhead.
Well,
but how does this help the Republicans in their campaign, you think? How do you all turn?
Because we're just trying to tie Joe to it. That's all we care.
To what Hunter was doing.
Not to hunting, snorting powder. No, not that.
Right.
About he's so messed up that he's threatening foreign officials to get money using his father.
But I thought the argument was that Joe Biden was the one that told them to get rid of the prosecutor.
No, I don't know about that.
That's what it's all come. That's the only quid pro quo they can think about. Is Burisma was being investigated by a prosecutor. Then. Well, this all comes at the same time. That's why this is so crazy.
Right.
We're like 17 or 15.
Well, that was the call that Trump was. Is there anything shady going on here? Look into this, and lo and behold, that's this. It's this that we're talking about, and you guys are like, nah, that's not really what's happening. Oh, Trump shouldn't have. That was a bad call. Blah blah blah. And that's this.
So I think these last charges are going to be the easiest to prove against Donald Trump.
What? Which ones? The documents one?
Yeah. Telling that employee to get rid of the server.
So.
Get rid of the server.
But he wasn't. I thought they said that you'd have to be like in some official capacity. So like LEO doing something to a private citizen that was only exercising their constitutional rights, and let's say they shot him. That's that whole thing. Because Trump wasn't president at the time.
Yeah,
so
but the easiest federal crime, the easier federal crime to get people, when you're obstructing justice, which is what they're going to get him for, is that you're trying to get rid of and destroy evidence that you committed a crime and the feds.
But how do you do that in the face within years? Remember, we live in a digital with Hillary Clinton deleting emails.
Nobody gets excited by Hillary anymore.
Right, but my point is, do you really think that it's going to go over? So this is your last shot, really. This is you guys' last shot. If this does not stick.
No. I think Trump is going to give us some more. He's the gift that keeps on giving.
This is true. This is true. But you have to admit, you guys haven't done really well to date. You've been at this guy since 2017.
Let me take this.
Since 2017. Hold on. I mean, when are you going to admit that?
Let me try this. You all went after Hillary. You couldn't even get a charge.
Right. She's well protected.
You couldn't get her arrested. We've gotten Trump charged multiple times.
And he's still leading in the polls.
That's Republicans.
He's still leading in the polls.
We've gotten him charged, arrested. We're circling the bases again. We're coming back. We're going to charge him again. He's going to be arrested again. We're not done. Then we're going to drag his butt to Atlanta. He's going to be charged again. We got at least 2 more arrests coming.
But on record, can he still run even with a conviction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
so what's the point of this? Unless you put him in jail, that's the only reason he can't run.
Yeah, so we're doubling down on the Georgia criminal charge as the one that really Hookson.
Because
I think this.
He can still run.
I've said this before. If Donald Trump gets convicted, right, of federal crimes, Joe Biden is going to pardon him. We're not putting a past president in prison and have him walk.
But up until now, we haven't done this to a past president either.
No, but we're not putting them in jail. Anyway,
we just want to make an example of it.
I want to thank you for coming in and sitting in with me, Professor. I appreciate it very much. See, I told you I was going to let you talk a little bit.
Man, I'm hot.
It's all good. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Hey, you have a great day. Get out, do something, be special, but most of all, be yourself. This is InTouch News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. See you back here again next week.
Man.
I'm
glad y'all admitted it. Y'all just trying to run the man in the ground. And here's what really bothers me.